This movie feels like it is happening at exactly the same time, but outside of the frame lines of Clueless. Like the camera, like we're shooting Clueless over here, but like just 90 degrees over there, they're shooting Tammy and the T-Rex, on the other side of town on the bad high school.
Clueless's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Yes.
But this Tyrannosaurus Rex just wants to be a party animal.
All right, Midnight Local.
This is Midnight Local, the podcast about movies and things. And I'm Greg, and that's
Movies
Meredith. And we didn't even do an intro on the last one. Hi.
Yeah, I mean, we've got our screen that comes up that says Midnight Local, so you know you're in the right place.
What are we talking about today? Tammy and the T-Rex?
Well, you've been begging me to watch this movie for a while.
Can't be that long.
Every time I talk to you, have you watched it yet?
Because I thought you would love it. I felt like it was up your alley.
Oh, I mean, it opens on a scene that is Buffy, like essentially, like her doing some sort of, I think it's like cheerleading practice or something in the gym, but it's shot
Buffy,
exactly. I'll do
like
a side by side. Probably both.
Yeah.
No, but it just looked like, I was like, okay, I get it. Like high school sci-fi. It had the vibe.
This movie is insane. It's sort of famous too for being like an amazingly bad, not bad, but amazingly bad, goofy horror movie.
Well, bad. Yeah, no, it's so bad it's good.
Exactly. It's like a Troll 2. It's way more watchable than a Troll 2. And
Troll 2, The Room, it's in that category.
Yeah, but it's a better film than all of those. It's
Maybe.
Way more coherent.
Okay, The Room isn't coherent. I've never seen Troll 2.
Troll 2 is, I hate it so much.
You're right. This has actually a pretty consistent plot.
To me, I think it's got more in common with like Rocky Horror.
Come up to the lab and see what's on the slab.
Like they somehow put together a movie that is a movie from start to end that's just bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say a couple of things. This has been famous for that for years. I only just came to it a few months, maybe a month and a half ago or something like that. And then I immediately was like, Meredith, you got to watch this. You got to watch it. And then the other thing to know is that there is a director's cut. And so there's
which is what we watched.
So there's a PG-13 edit and an R-rated edit. And I don't think the PG-13 edit is worth your time from what I've heard. And
Correct.
You will know which version you're watching because in the R-rated edit, the title card is wrong and it says Tanny with N's and the T-Rex.
Tanny and the Teenage T-Rex.
Yeah, which
was the working title.
Why Tanny? I don't know.
Because I just imagine that somebody chose that name because it was weird. And during filming, because they filmed this very fast and furious, people kept screwing it up and saying Tammy.
Maybe.
And in post, everyone was like, why is it? And they just decided at some point, 50% of the time you're saying Tanny. Most of the time it sounds like Tammy.
Yep.
Fuck it. We're just going to make it Tammy.
There's
but Tanny it prevails on the rated R version.
Yes. And cast wise, 2 notables.
Huge. 4 notables.
Who are the 4?
The 2 main characters.
What are their names? They're so notable.
We've got Richards. Hold on.
Denise Richards.
Denise Richards and Paul Walker.
Paul Walker. Wife's a big fan of Paul Walker's work in Meet the Deedles. Actually, if I may digress for a moment, one of the first Christmas gift I ever gave to my wife when I was dating, wooing her, was
wooing.
I had to woo her. She was wooed. So I'm a total wife guy. It's ridiculous. But yeah. So I knew that she was really into this terrible movie called Meet the Deedles. It's like a stupid Disney movie where Paul Walker and other guy are surfers whose dad sends them to Yellowstone, I think, to like learn hard stuff, and they become, I forget the plot.
Learn hard stuff. Like get serious. You got to get serious. It's a really ridiculous movie, and also Dennis Hopper is the villain in it. And it was never released on DVD in America. And so my gift to her that year was A, copy of the VHS, but also B, a British copy of the DVD that I made a copy of and jailbroke or region broke and burned a copy of. And then I also gave her an iPod mini that had a copy of the movie on it. Wow.
That was thorough.
Yeah, I covered my base.
So the other notables, I'm looking for his name. The pizza guy who comes in is from Napoleon Dynamite.
Is he Pedro in that movie?
He's Pedro, yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say because Uncle whatever his name, Uncle Rico is Greg in White Lotus.
Ellen Dubbin is also who plays Helga in this movie. One of your favorites.
She's so good.
Is also in Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, and that's such a small world. And you said she did a lot of voice acting too.
Efren Ramirez is the name that I'm looking for. So Efren Ramirez,
not to be forgotten. Get him on the IMDb.
Yes, is plays Pedro in Napoleon Dynamite and shows up as Pizza Guy at a very pivotal moment of this movie. And Ellen Dubbin also is in Napoleon Dynamite.
Okay. But she was a big voice actress. She's done like a million
She's
things.
done voice work, yeah. So I looked her up, and she's just a working actress and voiceover artist.
What was the budget on this? About $12?
$1 million.
They found a way to spend $1 million on this?
A whole million.
That's amazing.
But
honestly, if
it's
it
like
was
an
under
even
$1 million. Yeah.
So that makes me
Oh,
question.
Yeah, it was actually 980,000 or something.
I could see a lot of that being marketing after the
$1 million movie. Oh, I see what you're saying now. All right. So this movie is insane. Can I run the plot real quick?
Please, because I'll see if there's any holes that I need to fill in.
Okay. Denise Richards is a high school student. She is a cheerleader. She's the all-American girl. She is that caricature character in the movie, which I love. I love those kinds of characters. She's a stock character. Her new boyfriend is another stock character. He's just a real nice sweetheart, corn-fed football player.
Well, and they haven't made the leap yet, but they're flirting with each other.
They're just
and they
flirting.
Like each other.
You're right. Okay. Her ex-boyfriend is another stock character, psychotic, murderous criminal. Okay, with a gang.
Yeah.
Of a couple of real bad dudes and a couple of floozies.
Bad dudes.
Yeah, he's got some bad dudes.
Worst dudes. Bad guys.
Bad guys. He's got some hard guys in his team there. Yeah. And he's got a couple of floozies, and they're all just not nice people. And for some reason, he decided that although you are not my girlfriend, you are never allowed to date anyone or I'll murder them and you. Yeah. And his whole crew.
Classic abuser.
His whole crew is down with that, including his new girlfriend, which I love. She has no jealousy at all. That's right. We'll murder you.
I didn't think she was a girlfriend. I thought she was just a wannabe girlfriend.
Well,
maybe.
I mean, she wants to be his
Either
girlfriend,
way.
and she's, you know what I'm saying? Like, as much as these characters could be real at all, like, I don't think she's a character.
I thought there were like two of them, and I remember it a little.
There are two.
Yeah, and they're kind of...
One is much more sympathetic to Denise Richards' character, and then the other one is like, fuck you, your boyfriend died, you loser.
Well, yeah, and they kind of accidentally / purposefully kick this whole thing off by being kind of bitches.
They do? Can you fill me in on that? Because I don't remember that specifics.
So eventually Paul Walker's character like sneaks into her bedroom. And
because her dad doesn't want her having a boy over.
Well, of course, as is the high school trope, always coming through the bedroom window. Yeah. So these two girls see it happen. No, I don't know what that was from.
Clarissa explains it all. Every time
I never saw Clarissa.
Every time her friend came in through the window, there was a guitar riff.
Yeah. Dawson's Creek, famously. Scream. Lots of boys entering windows. Anyway. They like call Byron to tell him.
Oh, that's right.
And they're kind of giggling about it. I think they think like, oh, he's gonna get in trouble, but Byron chases him. Yeah.
They throw him in a trunk.
Yeah.
They drive him out to the woods.
No, to a wild animal reserve.
And they feed him to a tiger.
Pretty much, yeah. Which the stuntman was actually bitten by, like, when I saw that scene and realized how low budget and fast this was, I was like, this was dangerous. And it turns out, stuntman got bit by that jaguar.
There's a movie we need to watch that I saw Mark Maron in a short talking about called Roar.
Oh boy.
I don't know where we get a copy of it, but we need to watch it. I forget. Melanie Griffith. It was, her parents were crazy people and they had adopted 52 fucking lions in California.
That's a very specific number.
50. Meredith, can you imagine living in a house with 52 motherfucking lions?
Wait, is this a documentary or a narrative?
Both. So they had the 52 lions, and so they needed to pay for the 52 lions, so they made a narrative film about having 52 lions called Roar. And I've never seen it, but like there apparently are just lions around,
like the
swatting
Tiger King
at
guy.
people. Like, no, they're not in cages. They're in a fucking living room.
Oh, in the living room.
Yeah, just like untrained lions, and Melanie Griffith getting pawed in the face by a lion.
That's crazy. Whenever they do like the Tiger King documentary, they always talk about the culture of people who do this, and it's always like so much more expansive than you think. Yeah, like it's like something gets in their brain.
Did you remember Doc Antle on that? I remember as soon as he showed up, I was like,
No, I don't.
Oh, Doc Antle was the guy who was like grooming tiger girls around the country, and then like getting their parents to like let them be flown to live and work on his ranch, where he had a giant fuck pit.
Fun.
I think that he got in trouble.
Yeah.
After that documentary.
I'm
also like, watch it. I mean, like, don't watch it again. It was such of its time. But like, if you watch it, you're like, he knows there's cameras on, right? Like,
oh, Tiger King?
No, Doc Antle.
Oh.
He's not the focus, but like, does he think that people aren't looking into what they're seeing happening right now everywhere on like, and in truth, I think he got in trouble. So
I think that like a lot, like, it's funny. I meant to say this when we watched Blind Date, but one of the things I like about his motive in that movie, which is just like, I wanted to be a doctor, so I cut women up. Usually, that's about as deep as people's motives go.
Yes.
It's like
people are so stupid and simple.
Yes, and it's simple, and they think, well, no one's catching me, and I think they eventually do just like let down their guard or think they're untouchable or what they're doing isn't that bad or whatever happens in their brains.
There's this like, and I hate it. I hate the Hannibal Lecter myth. We talked about this.
Yeah.
The idea that like, oh, the serial killer's a genius. No, it's just that cops are bad at their job. And the only way you can cover for that is by claiming this person's a genius. They're not a genius. Usually they're like kind of on the slower end of the spectrum there.
Yeah.
And like, they're not right in their brains, but there ain't no rhyme or reason to it. And the only thing cops are really good at is like solving crimes when there's a confession. That's basically it. If there's no confession, they generally don't solve the crime.
Well, and it was much harder to catch people in the 70s when serial
they
killers
still don't
were
catch
really
serial
prolific.
killers. You only know about the serial killers they caught.
Yeah, but you know about like, yeah, I guess like I'm thinking of like the Long Island story. Did they eventually caught that guy?
Who knows?
Like when I was young in my New York days, there was the just the women disappearing on Long Island that they dug up at the beach. I think I did find him eventually, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But now it seems to be less prevalent than it was.
So he survives his tiger attack, which is a miracle. Oh, did we talk about her gay bestie?
No, we didn't yet. Byron.
That's Byron. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't call Byron. You said that the bad girl's called Byron. They call whoever the boyfriend is, the ex-boyfriend.
Oh, right. The boyfriend is Billy.
Billy and Byron.
The nasty boyfriend is, sorry, I mixed those up.
Her,
Byron is her gay best friend.
Yeah, which is such a trope.
It is.
He's cool.
I liked the interaction between him and Paul Walker in the beginning.
Oh yeah,
it's very sweet.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He does. Yeah. Okay, so here's my questions about him.
I mean, he's a stereotype.
He is a stereotype. He does look old for the role.
Yes. Well, he did nothing after this movie until 2019. He was in one episode of The Rookie. So I don't know.
Whatever he is, he's not working.
No.
It's a shame, by the way. Everybody in this movie is actually fantastic. I am baffled by the fact, like, that's what makes this movie so good, is that, like, it's actually good.
I'm not sure I'm quite there yet.
Okay,
but
fine.
Sure.
Fine. I disagree. I think this movie is some sort of a cinematic masterpiece when you consider what they had to work with. So, right. So we've got the bestie. He's now Paul Walker's in the hospital, and we now find out about this insane scientist.
Yeah. I thought from my reading the description of the movie, I thought Billy killed him and that was it. But no, he's alive in the hospital. Yeah. Very alive.
Yeah.
Like not too beat
He's
up.
going to recover
Doing
from the tiger attack.
Yeah.
He's going to recover.
Yeah, it's going to be fine.
But there's an insane scientist who, for reasons, believes that the future is putting human brains into mechanical T-Rex bodies.
Well, and so we also, I think at this point, we do get an introduction to the T-Rex before they come to the hospital. So yeah, we know that they have a plan. They try to bring it to life. They're unsuccessful.
They have a computer program that does it, and they don't like it.
Yeah, they come to the conclusion that it needs a human brain.
Yes. And his motivations are pure insanity. There's no like, it is just, this is the future. The future is putting human brains into T-Rexes. This is where humanity is going.
Yes.
Like, and he's got a team of people who are pretty much on board with it.
Well, you know, he didn't stop to think if he should.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to pause and point out that man, the crazy scientist, and his girlfriend Helga are a brilliant comedic duo. Helga is so funny in this movie, and I guess she got some work, but I don't know the scientist guy's name off the top of my head. Also very funny.
Norville, is that one of his flunkies?
That sounds like a flunkey's name.
Doctor Wachenstein.
Yeah, he's genius. He is so continually smoking in every scene, which I don't know why. It makes him so funny.
He's Bernie in Weekend at Bernie's.
Really?
I'm looking at Weekend at Bernie's, and Bernie is the name underneath.
Wow.
Let me double check that, but
I think I believe that. Yeah.
Bernie, Terry Kaiser is his name.
Wow. That's amazing.
I'm glad that I could impart that upon you.
Well, he is a comedic genius then, because, you forget that Bernie is not alive in that movie, or is alive doing a lot of stunts and funny stuff. So Bernie is a fucking comedic genius who chose to smoke in every possible scene, no matter how absurd it was. Him and Helga, I don't know how they even catch word like, oh, there's a sick teenager down at the hospital. Let's go steal his brain.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if there's an attack in your local wildlife preserve.
No, they decide to just roam. That's right. They just roam the hospital looking for someone that they can kill and take their brain. And like, this one's perfect. They just
kill the young guy with a whole future ahead of him.
They wanted an undamaged brain. And so they go in there. I also think Helga might have thought he was attractive. And they pretend to be doctors who smoke, and they steal him. And then they drive him to their laboratory, and they cut his brain out, and his body dies. And
gruesomely cut his brain out.
It is horrific.
It is.
And they jam his brain into this T-Rex.
Yes. And it works.
And we're off to the races.
We are off.
So
I feel like I should say this early in the podcast, but do you know like why this movie got made?
Because the producer or director, I forget which, was informed by someone who was exporting a mechanical T-Rex to South America. I've got a mechanical T-Rex for the next month. What do you want to do with it?
Yeah, very much.
And then 2 weeks later, they filmed the movie. And they filmed the whole thing in about 2 weeks because they only had the T-Rex for a month.
Yeah, like 25 days or something like that.
Yeah, whole movie. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. That's how you make a movie.
I mean, also mixed in there, I have to imagine, was like, Jurassic Park, anything with a dinosaur in it's going to make some money.
Sure. Did Nico Mastorakis direct this?
It feels like it. Sure does.
Money? Who needs money? I have a T-Rex. We put the mega T-Rex in the movie. No, so they put him in there. And I guess that their plan was like the brain was just going to be the computer that made it seem lifelike. But in fact, the brain is alive and he is trapped in a T-Rex and he starts murdering people.
Well, he has all of he's like fully Michael, the character.
Yes.
And so
but I don't
think pissed about being killed.
Oh, he's very pissed.
Pissed about being put into a T-Rex.
Yep.
So like now they've just like taken this vengeful teenager and put him in a killing machine.
He's a very nice guy. He's not very vengeful, but he has reasons for
vengeance.
At
this point he is. I don't no, I'm not saying like he's warranted. He's fully warranted in his anger for sure.
He kills some people.
Yeah.
He kills some of the people who put his brain in that machine.
Well, the sidekick
flunkies.
guy who programs him is like taunting this like T-Rex, and he just like rips his head off.
But that's why they thought that they were putting the brain in there so that it would have access to like real, I think,
That was what I remember. Real reactions, real, what is that called? Reflexes and stuff like that. So it would look real, but instead it maintained all of its consciousness. And that's why he was taunting it. He thought it was like a prisoner in there, but in fact it's Michael the T-Rex, and he is pissed and out for blood.
Yes.
So he kills these two dudes, and then he goes to a party in the woods.
Because he's after Billy.
He kills all of them.
Yeah, a whole lot of them.
Yeah. And we find out about Byron's dad. I don't know about before that, but maybe like Byron's dad is the town sheriff.
Yes.
And
Sheriff Black, I think, is his name, which...
Yes, that is a name. Did you watch Strangers with Candy?
Oh, yeah.
Love that show.
My God.
Principal Blackman.
Yeah, yeah. That show. Watching an episode of that show would be fun. But
Strangers with Candy, followed by Strip Mall.
Talk about things that would never be on TV now.
What'd you say?
What did you hear?
I'd rather not repeat it.
Well, then I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
I stole the TV.
Yeah.
Did some more time, but now I'm back in school.
Yeah.
That show. Amy Sedaris.
So good.
Wonderful.
So good. So
yeah,
good.
It's good.
Yep. He has two deputies who I adore. I adore them. They are... Have you seen the Aristocats?
Yeah, years ago.
You know the hound dogs in it?
Mm-hmm.
It's them. It's not them.
Okay.
I literally had to check and see if they were the voice actors who did that part. They are not. But that's the characters. The best line in the whole movie is when the one sheriff, like after the massacre at the party in the park, and someone tells him it's a T-Rex, there's a monster, I forget who it was. The one dude's like got his hand on his hip and is going, he just rolls his head. He's like, you're going to have to, what was it he says? He says, they're hysterical, Chief. You're going to have to slap it out of them.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. The way he said
they're in shock, Sheriff.
That's what they're in shock, Sheriff. You're going to have to slap it out. I had to stop watching the movie and laugh for a solid minute on that delivery. I don't know why. It just landed so hard.
It's so funny. It landed for me, too, because I wrote it down in my notes because I was probably just laughing at it.
So they're great.
Yeah, then the two cops, they were the only ones to make a homophobic comment.
That's right.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they wanted to slap her. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not portrayed as like they're kind of shitty. The movie is not endorsing their worldview. They're kind of shitty.
Yeah.
They could be a lot shittier. You know what I mean? Like they're not the worst.
They're written to be shitty.
They're not the worst like small town deputies, but like they're definitely not the best.
Yeah. Well, and Dad loves his son.
Sure.
The sheriff loves his son. There's no weirdness there.
No, it never comes up.
So the two Helga and Dr. whatever come back to the lair, not realizing that
the T-Rex is gone, baby.
And as he's escaping, he sort of runs over or somehow smashes like their big muscle man.
Yeah.
And when we see him next, he looks like he's been like rolled over by like a cement, like something that like flattens
cartoon flattening
yards or whatever. Yeah. And she looks at him and says, "Looking a little flat today, Carl." But then she like puts her finger in like on him.
Yes.
Or no, she rolls him up.
Yes.
And then is like licking the blood off her finger. Just casually.
I know.
Just so casually.
I know. They just decided those two characters should be unhinged on to 11. Their level of insanity is wonderful, and also how much they love and support each other.
Yes.
But they are fully ballistically insane.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Absolutely.
And grounded in the film. I want to point that out too. Like, I don't know. I think if you let yourself, you will buy into this movie. Like, it obeys its logic.
So. Yeah, I think that's true. I wasn't bored by it. It wasn't so bad that it was boring. It was fun bad. I will give you that. But like, I don't know if I'd go as far as to call it a masterpiece of a movie.
It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be picking up and watching it again anytime soon, probably.
I probably won't either, but I still think it's a masterpiece. It's left me very affected. I'll carry this movie for the rest of my days.
Well, it has a cult following.
Oh,
it definitely reached that status. So
they're both hunting for the T-Rex.
Yes.
The cops are hunting for the T-Rex now that they believe that there's a T-Rex.
Now that they believe it, yeah.
The girls and Byron have the T-Rex. They're hiding the T-Rex.
Out in a barn, yeah. She's just like, it's very King Kong. She's just like in her dress, just like cuddling up next to her T-Rex.
Yeah. Ice cold, hydraulic powered rubber T-Rex. I was thinking about too. I was like, why?
Well, and what a smart thing though too, to like acknowledge that it is. They never tried to say, "Oh, we have this T-Rex
that we cloned,
that we dug up."
No,
cloned.
it's a robot.
It's a robot.
It could be any kind of a robot. There's no reason for this,
and that it's fine for it to look like a robot
and move
in
like
every
a robot.
shot.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make it look real at all.
That's why I'm saying is that like you buy it, you can buy in.
Yeah,
like,
right.
It actually really works. The massacre at the party is unreal. Like when was it? Like there's like some showgirls level of car sex going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. And he lifts her up. Well, so and you really can't without the gore cut. I don't think that the party scene would really land.
No, I don't even know what the movie would be without the
right. You just have like bodies disappearing.
Yeah, it would be terrible.
Yeah, the whole point of that scene is the gore for sure.
They want to get his brain back into a body, but his body has been cremated, so that's not. They've closed that door, which I love. I love that because that's what would happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, well, your body's like decaying and rotting and gone.
It's not cremated yet, but they like stapled his head back together. It just looks.
It's not going to work, baby.
Yeah, there's no saving it.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that because like, again, that's like grounded in the way that like it's a robot T-Rex. Like,
but if your brain could reanimate a T-Rex, why wouldn't it be able to reanimate another body?
So they go to the morgue and go body shopping, which is so fun. Because Byron has his own ideas about who she should be dating, and like and he has like everybody's like, what about this one? She's like, I like that one. He's like, I don't want to be that guy. She's like, are you sure you want?
Yeah. Well, they pick a girl at one point, and she's like, I don't want to be with a girl, and Byron's like, me either.
Yes, something to that effect. There's one person that they were considering very strongly until they realized his penis is too small, which. You know, I think they would all be pretty shriveled up in that state. You'd never know.
That situation,
it's a real blind box situation. You don't. It's buying Magic the Gathering cards. You don't know what you're going to get there. You know, without a little warmth and blood in there. Growers, not showers. Yeah.
I was telling you, this is the second time that I've seen this exact scene in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
First and second time.
Where was the other one?
It was Kevin Can Fuck Himself.
Oh.
Which is that show that is simultaneously a sitcom and a drama through her eyes, sitcom through her husband's.
Wait, they were shopping for corpses in that show? You told me this, and then I glossed over the point where you were making. I was like,
well, I don't think I told you why. Yeah, so spoiler alert. They're not actually. It's different. They are body shopping, but not for the same results.
Oh.
Like she is going to fake her own death, so they're looking through the morgue at dead bodies in order for her to pick like a new name, a new identity. They're not going to actually snatch the body. They're just trying to see who's recently died.
Okay, got it.
And then they were going to go to City Hall and steal that person's record of
They
death
pick
and
these
destroy
bodies
it or
up
whatever.
like they're just a suit of clothes.
Oh yeah,
bodies are heavy.
Yeah.
It's like, you want this one? How about this one?
Like coffee cups.
Yeah, like coffee cups. And finally, they get away, and there's a standoff in the barn. I think the scientist and Helga get killed by the cops.
Yeah.
The cops shoot them to death in like a ridiculous hail of bullets, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think that's how that ended. It doesn't really matter. The movie ends with they never get him a body.
No, his brain is in a computer.
In a jar.
There's a computer in a jar next to a computer.
On a shelf in her room.
Has his voice. He can talk again.
And she strip teases for him while
every day
sparks shoot out of
school.
His jar. But, she's said there was a big skiing accident up north, and they're working on finding a body, and they got to go.
Oh, okay. It's still in the works.
Yeah, they're working on the body. She was like, listen, I got to go away for a day because a lot of people died in a skiing accident, and I'm going to go see. They're ice cold. They're going to be very well preserved. I'm going to go see if there's anybody up there that we can slip you into. He's like, okay, honey, see you after the weekend.
Just a brain in a jar.
It's a film that's not afraid of its premise.
No. Oh no,
You know,
absolutely
like
not.
it
Well,
like
they had nothing to lose.
right, exactly. And so
Yeah.
like, well, can we really
$1
put
million.
this guy's brain back in a jar, in a body? I don't know about that, but we can put it in a jar. We've established that. Like, there's no going back. This movie, where it starts, like it just goes to its logical conclusion given this setting. Without the hand of the writer ever intervening to take it where they kind of wished it could go. They're just like, fuck it. We don't have time to write a different ending. This is what is happening. This is what's happening. I give them a lot of credit for that. I think that's I think that they could have made a better movie with more money and the same premise. Like, I don't think it's a bad idea for a movie or even a bad execution. I think it could have been, I think that they were just hampered by the limitation. They had the cast. They had the idea. They had the will to do it. They had everything. It's a great movie.
For you, movies just need to be low budget and not planned out.
Yes. This movie has it all.
What is your favorite recent, would you say, like large budget movie?
Actual movie?
Anything? Like, do we have to go back to like 2005? Like, what
do you mean by large budget? You mean like real movie?
Yeah.
I really liked American Fiction.
Was planned. That was, oh, that's right. Okay.
I really liked that movie. I liked American Fiction. It was really cool. I don't know if I've seen any other recent movies.
Yeah.
I tried to watch Deadpool because the shorts on TikTok, the newest one.
The newest Deadpool
with
or
Wolverine,
the first Deadpool?
With Wolverine.
Oh, with Wolverine,
and because the shorts and stuff made me convinced that I would want to watch it. It was so fucking bad. So bad.
I saw it on a plane. See, I was entertained by it. I'm so the opposite of you. Like, I'm fine watching like almost anything. I get like the same silly enjoyment out of something like that I do out of this.
Nah, I don't know why.
But there's more visual candy, so it's like in some ways I like it more.
I do not
So
care
it's
about.
Be stupid, at least be cool.
I don't care about visual candy.
Yeah, I know you don't.
I really don't. I'm not impressed by it because it's like, oh, you had money. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, these kinds of movies have a different sort of visual candy that I don't mind.
Actually, I think this might be our first one without boobies.
No, you don't really get any boobs there. You just get Denise in her underwear.
And the up to the R rating doesn't bring that in. That's all for gore.
Nope.
The one shot that everyone talks about that is kind of hilarious is at some point she's riding the T-Rex and you see, it's like the one long shot where you see it from a distance and it runs across a landscape and it's so clearly like a toy being moved across the land.
Yes.
And it's like, they felt the need to keep, they just did it anyway because I don't know, they really wanted this idea of her riding it, I guess.
Yeah, of
but
course.
It's like you could have done without it, but
they had the close up, they needed the match from the wide. Like, no, like it's fine. You knew what the intention was. It doesn't like this is such a stupid thing, but like when I was like probably before film school or like maybe one summer home from film school or whatever, we were making this movie where I played a pirate and it was like kind of a remake of a movie we had made a couple years ago and we wanted to do it better and blah, blah, blah. And like, it was like a movie of this caliber, like a time traveling pirate, bizarre shit. One of our friends decided he was not going to show up anymore to be in the movie. And we replaced him with a sock puppet. Without explaining it, just like in the middle, like just, okay, fine. That's fine. Like it's the same character. Like, you know, like what's the difference? You know,
lean into it.
If you were invested in that person playing that role from the beginning to the end of this movie, like you were invested in the wrong parts of this thing. All the way through? Come on. We can change the cast in the middle of a movie. What's the difference? Like, you know the intent. This is what the character did. He's a puppet now. It's fine. I always used to get in trouble when I would cut like this little production company I worked before you and I really started working together, and they'd be like, "Oh, Greg, we want this cut like a reality show or whatever," and I would be like, "Cool," and then I would cut it, and they'd be like, "Why can we see that camera operator in?" I was like, "Because it's reality." Yeah. And they're like, "No, that's not what we meant." I was like, "Wait, I don't watch reality shows, guys. Are you telling me that like the reality shows like pretend that there's not a camera person in them? Like, is that important for it blows my mind that the viewer needs that kind of like illusion that to pretend that there's no camera, no microphone, no producer. I can't comprehend that that's necessary for you to enjoy this. I still don't believe it. I genuinely don't believe it. I think it's just something people think is true.
Find that interesting too on like something like Naked and Afraid. Like they have to cut around because they both are carrying cameras, and it's very rare that you see a camera in a shot, even though Like they're carrying them. Just recently, they've started to do GoPros that you do see. But like for a long time, it was a conscious decision, even though it's so much easier and they probably get so much more usable footage, to not use the GoPro because it's just going to take people out of it if they see someone wearing a GoPro.
It's so weird. You remember Survivor Man? Did you ever watch that?
No.
Predecessor to all those shows. Survivor Man.
Okay.
He was a Canadian guy. And then Bear Grylls, whatever his show was called, kind of imitated him, but upped the budget. And like Survivor Man was legit. He went out, as far as I know, with 3 cameras on his person and like would set up shots. Like the guy was like inventing YouTube. Like vlogging, like he would set up the shot and exit the frame and enter the shot. Like he was fully self-producing, from what I know, this actual TV show that was on TV. And like, yeah, cameras would be in the shot. Like there'd be like shots of him like crawling and he's like pushing the camera forward along with himself, talking to himself so that, you know, he can keep the shot and get the moving shot. And like, you're seeing his hand push the camera and the camera's like, just like grinding along the ground. But like, you know, it didn't matter. Like that's, it's real, man. This is like fucking cinema verite over here.
I do think most of the reality that people like to watch, people know is also scripted and they're okay with that. It's more mockumentary at this point than it is reality.
Interesting. I mean, and reality TV still exists.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
It's huge.
I don't know what people watch.
And it's like, what do you consider? It's all different.
Are the Kardashians?
I don't
still
know.
around?
I don't think there's still a show for them, but the Real Housewives.
They're still doing Real Housewives? Okay.
Oh, yeah. They're everywhere.
I think that all kind of exploded because of the writer's strike in the early 2000s.
Yes. We can blame the writer's strike for a lot of that. Yeah.
Fuck you. Hey,
yeah.
Do you know why Food Network?
Why Food Network?
Why Food Network?
Sorry, I thought there was.
Why did Food Network take off?
No, why?
9/11. After 9/11, every channel was doing nothing but news coverage, except for Food Network, and people didn't really want to like be completely inundated all day, and they wanted an escape. They wanted that comfort thing, and so Food Network fucking blew up. HGTV, I think, also benefited from that lift. Yeah, that's true.
Like people realizing, like, I do want to have something on. I don't want to turn it all the way off, but like, did not know that.
I don't want it on. My wife is like happily we don't have like a TV on. Well, we don't have cable anymore, but like she grew up in a TV's always on house, and I grew up in a we have 4 channels house, so TV's always off. But like, yeah, I can't stand having just like white background noise. It makes me feel insane.
TV was an event for us, but
kind of. Yeah. What does a movie like this say about society, Meredith?
Well, we can't, if we're making the reality shift, wasn't Denise Richards, I think, on one of the Housewives show, maybe not, or had her own reality show for a beat. It didn't work out. And so now she's on OnlyFans. And
wait a minute.
I guess she makes $2 million a month, according to estimates.
Wow!
So, yeah, good for her.
Legit might have to check that one out. I don't know. What is she?
I'm surprised you didn't find that in your research, Greg.
I don't do research. You do that. I'm color commentary.
Speaking of, did we go through the stats on this one? PG-13, but not really. Not the version we watched.
No,
and this one's only an hour and 22 minutes, so I love that.
She was in the cast of The
mold.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in 2018.
There you go.
Which means she's a housewife.
She is.
Is she though?
Oh, well, they all, yeah.
I mean, the minute you have a job on a reality show, you do cease to be a housewife.
That's not how they're interpreting housewife.
But how are they interpreting it then? Because that is what it means. Now I'm really wondering. This is a paradox. You can't. This is a catch-22. You cannot be a real housewife and be a real housewife.
Because to you, a housewife can't have any sort of income job outside of, even if that job is just documenting them being a housewife.
No, because to you make it sound like I'm so chauvinist. No,
chauvinist.
Because
I'm
to
just
you,
saying, how do you define?
No, I mean, like, I'm just saying that, like, first off, housewife, I think. Well, whatever. I'm just like, isn't homemaker, which is the least derogatory term? I know housewife was derogatory for a while.
None of these women are homemakers.
I'm just saying, like, I think that if it's a job, right? Like, if you're a housewife, if you're saying my identity is housewife, you are saying my job is housewife. That is the thing that I do. It is of great value, and it is my contribution to this big team effort that I'm a part of, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
So I think the show started during the aughts when we really, really liked rich people on TV before we had sort of turned against that being a thing that we enjoyed.
Wait a minute.
Right?
She was married to Charlie fucking Sheen.
Yes, that's right.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to stop
Choices
there.
were made.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yes.
For 4 years.
Which how could anyone? That's a marathon, not a sprint.
I think so.
But yeah, Housewives was always really rich, pretty rich people. In the first Housewives of New York, one of the main characters wasn't even married. Bethany Frankel, when she got on the show, was dating. She was not married. It's just women, but for some reason, Housewives was the branding, and that's what stuck.
It's so weird. I just feel
I hate it so much. I know how people are into it, and it's just ugh.
I painted a room with a guy who was on Real Housewives.
I was in an episode of Real Housewives.
On camera?
I was in the background. Yeah, on camera. I'm in the episode. They went to a Boxers. You know what Boxers is in New York City?
I assume it's a... Oh, wait, no, let me guess.
Guess. Yeah, guess.
It's reverse Hooters.
That's funny. Actually, kind of.
It's dudes with big packages serving you hot wings.
So, close.
I always wanted to call my version of that Bananas. I was going to open up Bananas.
It's a gay sports bar.
Yeah, that's what it is, guys.
Yeah.
I nailed it, is what you mean. It's not close. Much. I nailed it. Jesus.
So for some reason, the Housewives of New Jersey was filming a birthday party for one of the sons at Boxers. I mean, I think they did it. They did like a partial drag show, I think, in the episode. Okay. It's a big space, so it's easy to film in, which is probably a big part of it. And just like Boxers is a New York thing, people know about it. And so I
had a friend who worked at a gay sports bar, and he said it was one of the worst experiences of his life because
gym bar and Boxers. Most of the guys who work at Boxers,
he said his job was to walk around in tighty whities and serve shooters, and he got fucking molested, according to him.
They don't. So all these guys pretty much stay behind the bar, and
he was like a shooter boy.
They're in pretty small pants.
Shooter boy.
They're not pants. Like
hot pants.
Yes, pretty much.
Hot pants.
Anyway,
hot pants.
So I happened to be there that night.
There?
I would go. So first of all, my roommate Andrew had his birthday.
Okay.
Every year.
I forgot about Andrew. Yeah. I was gonna say because from what I understand, lesbian spaces and gay spaces do not meet. They do not. There's hostility. Yes.
Not necessarily true. And also, like, I spent most of my time. Like, I didn't have a group of lesbian friends until much later on. Most of my time I spent with gay men.
Who can't be friends with girls is what you're saying.
Yeah, actually, tons of straight female friends. I just didn't have any other gay female friends. But no, most of my time was spent. I mean, I was a musical theater kid. My best friend is gay. Like, all of my friends went to the Fashion Institute of Technology, or SVA. Like, anyway.
Hey, wait a second, though. Theater thing. I do have a theater kid question.
Yeah.
Are the lesbians do they become theater kids, or is that strictly straight women and gay men?
No, they are. I mean, well, now it's so different because, like, I don't know. I think there's when I was in high school, it was mostly straight women and gay men. Yeah. I would say that was the stereotype. Now the Zers are much more fluid about all of this stuff. Some of them.
I like the idea of applying fluid to the identity of who's a theater kid, really.
Well, I know. I bet about sexuality.
I'm theater kid fluid.
That could also be true. We also had like a unique.
Are we not all a little bit theater kid?
We had a lot of straight guys in our theater program too.
I would not get. They wouldn't cast me. I wanted to be, but our theater teacher hated me in high school.
That's so funny because you've got such a. I don't know I know a little bit what you looked like in high school, but I would say like.
I don't think I was very good.
For high school.
I don't know. I just know that our theater teacher fucking hated me. Mm-hmm. We did not get along. She was a piece of shit, and I don't mind saying it. She was.
Doesn't sound like you liked her much either.
No, we did not get along at all.
Yeah.
She was not cool, and like she inserted herself into really inappropriate social dynamics with the girls and like social drama and like
theater teachers will do
who's
that.
dating who and bring me the gossip, and it was just like I just remember being like, you know, as a 15-year-old being like. I had some weird sense of justice where I was like, that's fucked up. Like you and I are probably not going to get along right away.
Yeah. Our theaters didn't want to know the gossip, but there was like a select group of kids that were kind of allowed to hang out in her office and all sorts of stuff like that.
It's not a meritocracy. Call back there. It's not. I remember when I was doing the UCB stuff, I remember like I kind of came to this realization. I was like pretty annoyed that when I was auditioning for house teams or whatever, I was just like, I don't know. I was auditioning for advanced study, and I was auditioning for house teams, and whatever. And like they were like, no, you can just take 401 again. And like that's a big thing. It's like, how many times do you have to take 401 to get through? And what I found out was, and I was really pissed about this, that like it was basically who's a bringer, who's showing up and volunteering to hand out tickets, who's on the street doing, you know what I'm saying? It really wasn't about like who's funny for the most part, unless you were some kind of a freak. And I kind of complained about that to somebody, and they're like, how else would you expect it to be? Like, what? Yeah, of course. Like, that's like, I was like, I don't know. I just thought that they would want, not that I'm the funniest guy, but it was very clear that that's not what was going on. That they, it wasn't a pure system. And like, basically it was who's friends. That's what it was.
I think most of the time that's where you land. We had a guy he was the theater director from when my mom went to the high school that I went to. Like she was there for his first couple of years. He was just a long-standing theater teacher at the high school that I went to. And he was so good. Like everyone, he would switch out who got roles. He
understood it was a high school theater program.
Yes. He wasn't trying to make his best show. He was trying to give everyone a shot to try. So it's like, speaking roles would go to like everyone got a chance, right? That was sort of the thing. And then when the new woman came in, of course, she was younger and cooler, and I was a senior when she came in, and it was, for me, it was like, oh yeah, the cool teacher. But like as I became an adult and watched how this played out, it's like she cast the same 4 kids in every show. Like she's trying to make a show where parents come up to her at the end and are like, I can't believe you got like high school kids. She like wanted to make good shows. And it's like, no, this is high school. They should be bad. They should be funny, like funny bad. And then maybe you get a good crop and you've got a great show here and there. And that's wonderful. But it's like, I don't know. I from what I've heard about high school sports now too, is that like, unless you do like club sports up until high school, you're never getting on a high school team anymore. I'm just like, good Lord.
Yeah. It's like, if you're not on an early decision track, forget about it. And maybe you're not in a very competitive high school. I did, just to draw back to that, I did really throw down a gauntlet with her because I was already like, I had already decided like this woman was a piece of shit, and she was, and many people will back me up on this. And like, I guess she gave us some assignment to like, how to break down a character, and like, well, why don't you guys write a read of me? Write like me, like what write like what this character is. And I was just like exceedingly honest. I was like, well, you probably went to theater school, and I knew her husband was too. And I was like, you went to theater school, you auditioned for some stuff, you failed, you're very bitter, you're married, now you're here like being a piece of shit. Like in more words than that, in a small town in New Jersey, fucking thinking like blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, I made an enemy.
You hit the nail on the head.
I made a very serious enemy that day.
Yeah.
The theater teacher.
That's hard to hear. For anyone.
Fuck you, don't
yeah, sure. I never finished my housewife story.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were on Housewives. Please go back.
No, I was on me being on Housewives.
Yeah, anyway, I know. That's what I mean. You were in Housewives.
Anyway, I walked into Boxers one day. They were having people sign release forms. I was like, that is intriguing. And then was told by someone else in the bar, they're shooting Real Housewives of New Jersey here. So my friend Katrina and I kept moving around to try and position ourselves in every shot. So we were really fucking with their continuity, because we'd like run to one side of the thing because they were shooting. There's like a runway that went down the middle, and they were shooting on both sides of it. So we kept running back and forth to be like where the camera was. And so I'm in like 2 or 3 shots in the background of this thing.
You did it. You got in there. Theater kid.
Good time. Yeah, exactly. That was my big break.
Where's my close-up?
Should put that on my IMDb.
Center stage. The Meredith Engstrom story.
Uh-huh.
I was interviewed for Love It or Leave It, I believe.
Love It or Leave It?
Yeah. Was that the one with the lady who had like the grayish black hair? Am I thinking of that? No. What was it? It was like, it was some kind of a makeover show, I think. And it was her and a gay man. I forget what it was.
I don't know what you're
It was
talking
just
about.
like they were doing some street interviews and they were asking about like they get picked me to do like answer questions about.
Oh, nice.
Like what would you talk about on a first, like, would you want to meet there? I totally forget what the question was. And I gave an answer that was not, good for TV. I gave a real answer, which was just like, yeah, I think that's reasonable.
I used to run into Billy on the street all the time because I was always up and down 23rd Street and I would avoid him like the plague.
Oh, Billy seems so nice.
Just because you had a guy running up to you with a camera and a microphone screaming in your face.
Right, yeah. I was almost the editor of that show.
Oh, were you? That's fun.
Yeah. I went like pretty deep into the fucking audition process. But at the time, like the show didn't exist yet. And I was like, I don't even think I want this job. What you're describing sounds terrible.
Would have been fun to cut though.
In retrospect, yes. Yeah. I mean, I absolutely. I was kind of pissed about it because I didn't really put in the effort. At some point, she was like, well, listen, you've been an assistant for a while and I think you might be good. But like, can you write me an essay about why you'd be good for this? And I was like, yes. Yeah. But like at that point, I was like, what the fuck is,
Yeah, once you get editing in those like reality show circles too, it's hard to get out of it because the money is just good enough that you kind of get stuck. And from what I've heard, it is a soul-sucking experience.
I believe it. So, I mean, like, I'm glad I didn't get the job. But when
Ray got pulled onto a job that luckily they left, but it was like 2 or 3 years ago. And it was someone who was coming from the reality world and they wanted to create the cross between narrative and reality. Like it was going to be scripted, but real people were going to be the actors, which just meant you would really, right. And it was going to be marketed as real people. So then you had the problem of like the actors getting mad about their storylines because they're being portrayed as like,
right,
this is how they really are. It was a whole fucking mess. It sounded like.
Yeah, it's a hoax programming. That's like a thing. Yes.
Also, reality shows are already that.
Yes,
they are already scripted television shows. These people don't hang out and have dinner in real life. They're told to do so by a producer.
And they do, and scripted, like they do a take again.
Yeah.
Let's get that from another angle. Let's do that action again. It's ad-libbed, so to speak, but like they'll also cut and feed a line.
That's why I got so mad. Like Andy Cohen was doing a review show. This is years ago, and one of the housewives had referred to a couple of her gay friends as like my gays or something like that, and he made this whole like crusade out of like making a lesson out of her for being like degrading towards gay men, like they were her like property, her buddies, her playthings, and I was like, I bet you scripted that line so that you could have this moment in the review.
I bet.
Like, oh God, he makes my skin crawl.
He sucks, huh?
I think that he likes to make fun of silly women. I think his whole brand is just like dance puppets, and like straight men can't get away with that anymore, but gay men still can. We let them do it.
Hey.
I don't know why.
Hey, you said it, not me. Listen, it's hard for a straight white cis out there. That's all I'm saying. Especially a man. I'm just saying, I can't do a lot of things I used to be able to do.
Yeah.
I've been canceled.
Are you canceled?
I'm going on a canceled tour.
You're telling people on your podcast that you're canceled.
Yeah, I'm canceled.
I have no platform anymore.
But you can see me at the Palladium, and I'll be in a city near you soon. But I'm totally canceled and without a platform.
In my show called Canceled.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's such an old joke at this point. I think it's beat to death. Let it go, Greg.
Did we say what year? This year's 94. This is the first movie in a while we've done in the 90s.
It is very 90s. It feels. Yeah. This movie feels like it is happening at exactly the same time, but outside of the frame lines of Clueless. Mm-hmm. Like the camera, we're shooting Clueless over here, but like just 90 degrees over there, they're shooting Tammy and the T-Rex, on the other side of town on the bad high school.
Clueless is Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's the tag for the pod, by the way.
Yeah.
That's good casting.
Clueless, great movie, by the way.
Love
it doesn't need to be covered on this podcast.
No, it's too good for our show.
Yeah, it's too good.
There was a movie I wanted to bring up that I thought
Oh man. Oh,
I would.
theater. Have you ever seen Hamlet 2?
Oh, yes. Not in a very,
Ditto.
very long time.
I just felt like that was a Meredith movie that you would love.
Yes, that was a big deal when it had. Would we cover that? We could cover that.
Absolutely.
I would love to cover some
I don't think
something
Hamlet
out
2
of
was ever
the
a big
horror
deal.
genre. Well, amongst theater kids.
I would imagine that's the case. That's a big caveat. That movie was a big deal. I don't think so. Amongst the Civil War reenacting community. Oh, yeah. Okay, sure.
Hey, there's a lot of us out there.
In the world of penny collecting, yes, it was a huge event.
Well, I know we want to do some pre-code, which will be a
Definitely.
good break from some of the horror. So I think that'd be nice. And
Does
then,
Tammy and the T-Rex rise to the level of horror for you?
well, I think with the gore, the gore cut kind of does.
The genre would be horror. Because for me, the genre is definitely comedy.
comedy horror.
Okay.
You don't think so? Let me see what we
I don't know how. I
IMDb.
genuinely, I don't know. I guess you're right.
Dark comedy, parody, teen comedy.
There you go. I don't know what else you
sci-fi.
would call it, honestly. You're right. But like when I think of a comedy horror, I think of like Brain Damage, which is a horror that's funny.
I do think some of the gore
And
is
weird.
truly gore. So yeah, I guess shock, sci-fi, shock.
Tammy and the T-Rex defies genre. You can't.
That's what we're finding.
Cannot put this into a little box because there was no studio involved. It was just out of control.
Yeah.
Unbridled cinema, full throttle, no breaks. We're putting on a show. We've got a T-Rex and we're putting on a show.
No theater release, I would imagine.
I bet there was.
You think there was?
You think it was direct to video? I don't know. In '94,
know.
I mean, I'm sure it was four-walled in a couple of places, but
Yeah, there's no gross on it. Well, they really did fight for that PG-13 rating, which would insinuate a theater. I got nothing else on this movie.
I love it.
Yeah,
I really love it.
it's worth a watch for sure.
Do you think with our new medicine czar that Health and Human Services is going to look into the possibility of extending human lifespan by implanting brains into mechanical T-Rexes now?
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's very viable. We've just found out that boys now have less sperm than 68-year-old men, so we got to do something.
I've heard people saying that for a long time, and like this is the problem. No, seriously though, right? Like this is the problem with The Big Lie. The Big Lie. And if you read like
Which big lie?
No. The all capital, like the capital Big Lie.
Oh,
like
okay.
Hitler's
Yeah.
idea of the Big Lie. And I think that people misinterpret like that because you don't read the full quote and the whole breakdown on that. But it's not just that like arbitrarily big lies are easier to sell people on than small lies. It's because everybody, this is what he says. This is what he said. Everybody tells small lies all the time. How do you feel? I feel fine. You know? But nobody lies on that magnitude. And so you assume that like, well, like I would never do that. That's like, it would be embarrassing to make up something that whole cloth, but
it's gotta be grounded.
Like,
in
yeah,
some
that doesn't
sort of
sound
truth.
like, if it sounded like a small lie, you would know, okay, that's a little white lie. But if it's that kind of a big lie, it's so out beyond the pale that like it never registers that way. And so I've been hearing people say for years that like, yeah, sperm counts are low in young men. Is that true? I've heard it enough that like it makes me quite, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't think
Kay's
I
out there
probably
talking
isn't.
about it this week. So.
Yeah, I know. There was like another thing that
We could start a sperm count registry and just put it all to rest. We'll do tests on everyone and we'll register.
What are we talking about?
He wants to register autistic people.
Oh, yes. That sounds safe.
I think we should register every man and by their sperm count.
Rank.
So we know.
Rank us.
Then we'll know. Then we'll have all the data.
We'll have them ranked. Rank all the fellas.
Yeah. That's what we should do. I'm running for something.
I'm willing to make several donations.
Oh.
To the registry.
Not to my campaign.
No. I'm available. I'm capable.
It's the same
That feels like the button for the episode.
Yeah.
No, but what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it sounds like the circular logic of like, well, yeah, there's no sperm. That's why teens aren't getting pregnant. Oh yeah, they aren't. Yeah, that must be correlated. You know, it's causation, correlation, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And
actually funny. My wife was just talking about like places where there's declining birth rates. Basically, it's places where the economy increased, but like when you look around the world, they study, and you know, I don't know, to some extent, like a study can say just about anything you want it to. So I take everything with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. But like it was a study of basically, or now I don't know. Basically, if the economy went up and rights for women didn't go up, birth rate went down. Which I don't,
probably marriage as well, I would imagine.
Maybe I don't know how you quantify, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess you can quantify rights for women, but like you gotta, if you're quantifying it, like it has to be pretty narrow. Like you can't like quantify sentiment, so to speak, which I think whatever. I'm getting
rights, or I would also imagine like quality of health care for women.
Yeah, that's right. You probably measure things like that, exactly, which, you know, you measure it in life expectancy and stuff. But like life expectancy, like when people talk about like
maternal mortality rates,
that one too. But like when you talk about comparative life expectancy, and this came up on my live stream the other night, like I do know that every country counts that differently, and like from what I've read, and maybe this is the big lie again, and I have to do my own, I better do my own research. I should look into this before I spit my fucking mouth open about this, but I think a lot of countries simply do not count like infant mortality, like it's a separate thing as general mortality. So like any child that dies like up to a year after birth doesn't count towards the national average mortality. But in America, we do kind of count everything. And so that's what I've heard. And so
that'll
like
fuck up your averages.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like, well, I've got a whole bunch of zeros in this statistic, you know?
Yeah.
And then you've got like, you know, Republicans, they want to count abortions. They should. They have an average life expectancy of 40. You put all those negative numbers into the mix.
All right. Well, this leads nicely into what will probably be our episode next week.
I thought you were going to say our last episode ever.
Goodbye.
Good night and good luck, everybody.
Bye to you, sir.
Yeah. This has been Midnight Local, a podcast that isn't ending next week.
No, most likely. No,
most
it won't.
likely.
No. Keep listening. Dedicate your time, your hard-earned free time